Check 1 2. All right, there we go. Welcome everybody. So this is a special stream. It's going to be very long form. So we're going to be in it for a while. All right, so if you're in the chat, I do have the chat somewhat visible some of the time. I will have that and check in with it often if I'm not looking directly at it, so I may not see your question immediately. That being said, today we're going to be talking about VWAP. VWAP would probably be the proper way to discuss it because it stands for volume weighted average price, so it's probably WAP instead of WAP. So, but you'll hear it said both ways. And notice how I put the word anchored VWAP. And anchored VWAP is kind of more discretionary. We'll talk about that. But this just the VWAP itself, VWAP. I'm going to say VWAP, so if it annoys you, I'm very sorry. It can also be anchored generally to anywhere discretionarily. We'll talk about that later. But it could also be anchored to a static and non-discretionary point, like session start, like New York session open, or Europe session open, or London session open, excuse me, or Asia open, or a Trump tweet. You can anchor it to a yearly, the start of the year, the start of a month, the start of 3 months, the start after an FOMC announcement, after an earnings announcement, if you're doing it for stocks. But I'm mainly going to be covering futures here, mainly for the application of day trading, because that's what I'm doing right now. I don't swing trade or trade stocks or anything like that. I'm essentially just in futures right now, trying to master that, and then I'll move into some less risky things. Probably be easier too, and probably not as exhilarating, quite boring. But the idea is that we can use this very powerful tool to help us understand where fair value is for whatever discretionary or non-discretionary period we would like to do that for. So volume weighted average price is nothing more than average traded price weighted by volume. Now if you have a moving average, right, so moving average, like that, VWAP looks just like it, right? But what a moving average tracks is price change over time, and there's different types of moving averages by time periods on whatever chart you're on, right? Like a 9-time period EMA, right? And it's weighted by time. Well, it's not, it's just time, right? A price and time. So average price over time. And this is, the VWAP is more of just price over time weighted, taking into consideration volume. And we know that the most important thing is volume. We may not all know, but if you don't know, now you know. That's an opinion, so make your own decisions. But volume weighted average price is weighted by volume. Moving averages are not. And we'll talk about how you can see that and why it matters as price moves up and down. Because you can have really big prices swings up and down. You have really big price swings up and down, but the VWAP can be flat, and the moving averages will move with price. So just something to keep in mind. And we'll look at that on the chart, obviously. So that's what we're looking at. Weighted average price over time. All right, and that's what it looks like on a chart. See that yellow line? That is what it looks like on a chart. It's just a line, so it looks just like a moving average. So I chose an asset that I don't trade, but it's really hot right now with all of the things happening in the world. And because I don't follow it, I thought it would be nice to follow it back from 2005. We'll run the charts. We'll do some back testing. This is a 30-minute chart. If I change that to a 15-minute chart, it's the same time period. It looks relatively the same. Let's actually duplicate this chart. We're going to just play around here because this is free form. No rush. This is going to be a long stream, and eventually it'll be a more drilled into and refined video series in a playlist. That'll be that each part will be completely separate to this, but this is kind of a primer just to kind of get an overall understanding of what this thing is, why we can use it, and how it can help us become better and more profitable, right? Just how can we get more edge using it? That's all that really matters. So we have two charts that look the same. Supposedly, even though they're in different locations, they're not exactly the same. Wonder why that is. Maybe one side's bigger than the other. This is weird. Anyways, these are the same charts. So let's just make it so we can see everything. There we go. So there it is. That's your VWAP. Now let's add a couple things here. Just for fun. So we're going to add another indicator, and we're going to add in a moving average. So it's nice to see how things are related to one another. So we just add a moving average. Let's go ahead and add it. Go into the settings, and this is going to be a 21-day moving average, and it's calculating it based off the close, and it's a simple moving average. Just remember there's different types. All right, so you can see the moving average on the 21 period reacts very differently, and it's not responsive to volume, right? But what we can see with both is that it's trending up, right? They both tell us that. Right, and this is the overnight session. Well, maybe not. This is 10 a.m. up here. Okay, that's where it flattens out. So anyways, it's oil, I guess. Until recently, I would just assume it's going to be pretty flat of a VWAP most of the time, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to learn something, so maybe we'll learn a little bit about oil too. But so we draw a trend line, right? Yeah, well, we have three things here, right? We have trend line, right, showing the uptrend. right? We also have a moving average that keeps trending up. We drop below the VWAP, retested it, bounced off it. Um, there was responsive buying, probably a lot of limit orders absorbing passive or aggressive sellers, or maybe there's exhaustion down here and price goes up, right? Price goes up and then eventually breaks out and continues higher. And so far, we're going to play more of this chart, kind of see how it interacts. Um, Prices holding above the fair value average volume weighted price, independent of the time. So we have a time, a moving average, price over time, and you got a volume moving average. So I don't think it's bad. Oh, I got bacon on the oven. My bad. It's burning. All right. That was kind of funny. All right. So we're back. So they're both good. I kind of feel I like them both. I like them both, honestly. So it's just how you use them to find your edge. It doesn't really matter. I'm not really for or against anything. If it's used with context along with other things and confluences to get multiple signals that are showing you positive probability in the direction one way or the other, that's what you should use. So, but it's powerful, and I'm going to really talk about a lot of things. So let me bring this back on the screen. We'll come back. We're going to be all over the place. This is just a primer, right? It's almost like my let me like figure out how I'm going to talk about it, what I'm going to cover, then I can actually create the course, because I think it'll be very worthwhile for someone who's new. Um, so this is the right here for VWAP. I don't want to go down. Oh, that's crazy. That's in it. I don't know why that's there. Anyways, it's the price times volume divided by volume, and that's how the VWAP is calculated. All right, that's the formula for anchored VWAP. And now we know what it is. We got more stuff over here. All right, so next, pull this up. Okay, so here's a thought. I'll learn how to use this whiteboard at some point. Higher volume prices matter more than lower volume prices. Why is that? I just talked about that. I mean, that was the idea. Because it shows more effort and conviction. If something moves with relatively no effort, so no volume, well, it's likely weak and probably not an indicator that even though price is going up, the market's really strong. So when I see that, I'm looking for a place to get short. But when I see price going up with a lot of volume, you know there's some force behind it. So that move carries more weight. Then I might be looking for pullbacks to continue higher. So that's just an idea, right? Just an idea. Prices matter. We're not going through all this, but you see, this is all the things that I want to cover for VWAP right here. All of that shit. But it's too much, so we just do one little chunk at a time. All right, so starting to get a hang of these. Okay, why it matters. All right. It represents volume adjusted fair price. Institutions monitor it very often. It's used as benchmark for execution quality. And what that means, think of from the institution standpoint, buying below the VWAP may be considered a better execution because you're getting it at a discount, right? Because the average price is higher. Now, selling above it may be considered a better execution because you're selling it at a premium. People are buying it at higher than average price. So, very simple. Now, VWAP can act as a reference for value, but it's not necessarily support and resistance, right? A strong reaction off of it and then another impulse and test for higher value, for instance, may be a better case for that. But again, that's there's a lot of subjective stuff in this video and in my talking, and context matters. So there's always if and then and but. You can always add more to it. So we're going to try to keep it very basic. It shows where price is trading relative to the accepted volume weighted value. Above it at a or below it. So pretty simple concept, right? I know it sucks to have to look like you're in a class and you got to read words and shit, and it's just not all pictures and that kind of shit. But all right, session view up. Maybe this is easier. All right, so let's talk about session VWAP. It's basically a set defined time every single session or every day at the same time to start that day's session of the same time. Usually resets at the start of each trading session. So think of when the London session opens, it may reset there, or you can anchor it to there, different. Or if it starts at the Asia Open, which is start of the new day for futures, 1800 is the overnight VWAP. Maybe you have software that allows you to do a standard VWAP from the New York Open, or maybe the Asia Open, or maybe the London Open. All that is possible. So just know that the session VWAP is pretty much a daily marker, and it's probably used more for let's call it intraday trading. It's the words I'm trying to use. Okay, so this is a session VWAP. Okay, this is a standard VWAP. So it's the session started at 1800. We go back to this first calendar or candle. This is 1800. Okay, that's the Asia Open on December 31st, which is actually the January 1st session, right? So this is a new year for 2025. This is a 15-minute chart, but I'm usually trading on this 1 minute chart. But we can see that they're both trending up nonetheless, right? Um, and what we also see, like I said, the VWAP is sloping up. That's powerful. Okay, so this shows that there's, why the hell can I not write on that? What the fuck is going on? This is weird. Why can't I write on this one? Do you see that? Oh, I know why, because I'm a dummy. That's so funny. I have to use the tool from this one. So again, on the 15 minute, we have up, right? Again, it's not just about the VWAP, so we have to put it in context, right? We can see that on the 1 minute, we're going up. Another thing that we can see is that we're far from the VWAP, right? And another thing is that the VWAP hasn't been tested yet. It's up like 40 cents, right? So, I mean, it's clearly going up and it's upsloping, but it's starting to flatten out, right? It's starting to flatten. So we have a slope change. Right? What did we have here? We had a strong down move, push back up, two 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 rejections, right? Two times we reject from that level. So sellers step in, most likely. And then we break through the level again. Sellers step back in. Come back and retest the broken level, retest it again, fall through, retest it again, drop underneath it again. And now we're making lower highs, but not a lower low. So we're still maybe consolidating in this range. So that would be a read, right? That's kind of context. So when you're using the VWAP, I'm just trying to illustrate. I don't really care what's happening on the chart here, but that's kind of the idea. Start to paint the picture. Yeah, we have upward momentum, but as far as volume goes, it's starting to flatten out. And we did have a steep move up and one, right? We made one range here, broke through it. She barely tapped into it and just took off. So this right here is massive support. Right? So that would be massive support. So yeah, the VWAP matters, but it's not everything. So just know. But there's a book about it. And since we're just kind of getting familiar with it, let's go to Amazon. I've read it. I own it. Someday on camera, I might put it here. I can verify that I own it. Recent purchases. Um, what's it called? Let's just put his name in here. Here it is. All right. So Anchored VWAP, this book right here. This book is baller. Okay. It's a good book. I've read the whole book and I have a lot of trading audio books, a lot of psychology books, but this book, it has pictures, lots of pictures. It has great explanations. It's very well written. Brian Shannon, you can find him online. He doesn't really day trade. He's more of a swing trader and I guess longer term trader. Well, swing is, I guess swing trader is probably proper. He wrote this book, Maximum Trading Gains with Anchored VWAP, the perfect combination of price, time, and volume. Well, this book is amazing. I read the whole thing, and once I read that, I didn't go right out and start making trades with VWAP, but I started playing with it. So I just start to play with it and see what happens. So I would highly recommend that book. All right. So we showed the anchor at the start of the trading session. Again, I talked about this RTH futures, midnight, custom. Why reset time matters? Because maybe you only trade during a certain session and you only want to track the VWAP during that session. It's like a short term uh, time frame, or maybe you're tracking it for a longer term trade. You're holding it for much longer, and you need to let it kind of have time to set up for you. It's going to move right above it and below it, create some price action, eventually find the fair value, and then make a decision, right? For whatever reason, to either move away from it or break it to either side. And now we're going to talk about anchored VWAP. So that's a little bit different. So I'm going to be honest here. As far as I'm going to close one of these, we only need one. As far as Deepcharts goes, it took a lot of work to set up this VWAP because it has it did in this app. It's different in other apps. So if you use TradingView or another app, they all work a little bit different. I think my least favorite uh, application of VWAP is in Quantower, though. Not a fan. Oh no, Bookmap is even worse. It's like it works, but just to set it up is such a pain in the ass. But incorporating VWAP into your Bookmap maps is like next level. I think that's my opinion. So this has standard deviations in envelopes, and this can give you when price moves away from VWAP and how far does it extend away from it. It kind of lets you visualize that. So I'm just going to load these all. It's going to be a little bit busy. I turn them off on purpose because I don't like to see it all. I kind of use fibs along with the swing ranges, so I don't really need the bands. It's just too much on the chart, and that's my personal preference. So you can see here. But it does give you visual clarity as to what happened. Right? You can see two deviations. It's kind of bouncing in this second. So this is the range extension to the next deviation. Right? And then you can see it break all the way back through. So this right here, we did retest, right? If you take this area into consideration, which we haven't discussed, we broke through that pretty strong, right? In this zone right here, so even a little higher, this zone right here is strong. That might be another place where I'd look for a pullback. Maybe. Right. Along looking for other things as well. So we can start to see how we might anticipate this trying to break through and failing again and continuing. So people here are buying at a discount, right? They're buying at a discount. And I don't know if I can get that small. There it is. And the people up here are buying at a premium. If you're using the VWAP as a gauge for fair value. So one standard deviation above premium. When it dropped below it, volume stepped in and pushed the price up. So we're going to add another layer to this. Right, I'm going to get rid of these bands. Okay, so I'm going to just take this VWAP off for now because we're going to go into anchored VWAP. So that's session VWAP. Deepcharts does have one. You can do like a weekly volume profile, weekly delta profile, or a session VWAP band. They're very useful. I just don't like to see all of it. I turn them on and off once in a while. So I just use this, right? Just on and off. Okay, where is it? And I just kind of do my analysis and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll mark a few levels and I get it. But I'm using the VWAP, right? So it flattened out here. It moved up. Right, extended up. Failed. This zone right here became a selling zone here, right? Boom, hit, gone. Tap back into it, more sellers. Broke through it, turns into the opposite. Right now we're above it, bouncing back into it. Rejecting hard off of the VWAP, but now flattening out. Extended one deviation, making lower lows, lower highs, but not a lower low yet. So then we get this Dorito, right? So this is gonna be fun because I have no idea what's gonna happen, but we're gonna see just using the VWAP right here, and we might take a trade back down to the VWAP. Okay, the reason why we take a trade back down to the VWAP is because we can see that other people are stepping back in and we want to get out, right? Stepped in, push price up, push price lower. Right now, lower. It's gonna. So I think, based off just what I see right here, nothing else, we're gonna make a move back down to the VWAP. So I would likely be looking for in this case, since this is flattening out, I would look at this moving average is starting to flatten out, right? We're losing some steam. Took another leg up, consolidated, creeped up, took another leg up, starting to flatten out. This could be a pullback, right? We could continue up. There's nothing that says we can't do that. But I think we get another test. We rejected hard every time we've gotten close to this second deviation band. So that's my analysis. So let's see here. We just had a sharp rejection. So I'd probably wait just until I see maybe a bearish candle. All right, so now we're going to make it real fun, right? So the VWAP can be an exit. I don't think it's the best entry. Like right off the VWAP, I don't think it's a good entry location. Um, for lots of reasons, but um, we're losing steam. And you could also almost argue that maybe we're making a head and shoulders, head, shoulder line, and shoulder line maybe is forming. And we did go down. Maybe. I don't know. But it's flattening out, and I think it's going down. So we're going to run it. So this is another thing that I like about this particular application, Deepcharts, is the back tester. Out of all of the back testers I've used, I like the Atos back tester. Bookmap replay is kind of cool. I just don't like Bookmap, to be honest. It's just, and it's not how it looks, it's how you have to click around it and set things up. And there's some weird shit that just doesn't like intuitively make sense to me. So I can't like buy it. I used it for 3 months. Just didn't like it. And a lot of things that I need are right here. I can still get bubbles and see where like big players are stepping in. So let's run it. We're gonna run it at 8 speed. This is a 1 minute chart. So I would have probably gotten in if it breaks this low, then maybe retest it. So it's a new day, right? So it's starting a new set of bands. Isn't that crazy? It's on the spot. Okay, we'll go a little faster. Let's see if it breaks up or breaks down. That's really what I'm looking at, right? We want to catch the breakdown. We're looking for that entry. And maybe that's it right there. So maybe I enter right here, right? And we put our stop behind the first deviation band. And let's just see what happens. Before, and our target is down here right at the VWAP. So let's see what happens. I have no idea. I swear. It's not pre-recorded. So if it works out, it's just because that's what I saw and that's what I went with very little risk, right? So let's see what this, I guess we could put a buy sell thing on here. Where are they? Right here. Sell. So here. Are we entered right here? Risking that much to win that much. How often do we have to be right? 1 out of 3.6 times. All right, so we just got stopped out, right? Maybe that's the entry to come back down. But we limited our risk, right? We could definitely get back in again, right? So if we break this level, maybe bounce off the POC and start to go back down. Maybe I'm trying to catch the very top with it. Maybe if we break and retest this first deviation band right here, maybe get in right here for a second attempt at this first deviation band. It's easy to calculate after you're done. Because we're going to do it a third time, right? If we get stopped out. Maybe. Everything's flattening out, right? It's pretty flat. Now it's starting to go up. And boom. Stopped out again, right? So we wait for our next opportunity. And let's see if we're still profitable. That's kind of the point of this whole exercise right here, is to show that if you limit your risk, it's eventually going to go your way. Your timing is just not very good. So you're buying more time, taking a little bit of a price, right? To gauge, dipping the toes in the water, right? And then trying again. And it doesn't work out all the time. All right, I'd like to see a retest up here, and then I think I would get short right there. Stop above. Obviously, we're not taking the macro context and just the oil and war. I don't know what was happening January 2025. Was it? Oh, it was fucking Trump getting elected. Inauguration, right? That's January's when you get. Is it January? Yeah, because the election's November, and in January you get inaugurated. All right, so we're at the daily VWAP, right? You could also draw. Let's get rid of all this. You could also draw the anchored VWAP that I was talking about. So maybe I wanted to anchor it from this swing low. This is the VWAP. This is, they move, right, as it changes. This is the point of control, the volume point of control right here. Point of control is where the most volume has been traded in the session or for the time period annotated, the area. So what if I wanted to include this, because they share the same range. Then the volume weighted, interestingly enough, didn't change much. So it's interesting. But look at the VWAP, because this is just where the most volume was traded, right? So as things are moving, it doesn't care. It's just like, oh, yep, this is the spot where the most was traded. And it still is, even though trading is occurring other places. So that's a big distinction. Just know, like, point of control is just you're in the middle. Okay, you're in the stalemate. You're at the 50-yard line. You're at center eye, whatever. It's jump ball. But when you get to the VWAP, it has a little more significance because it's weighted by volume over time, not just the volume at one location. But this is important, right? It can be a target because you know that the other side's there. You're getting out, right? Until it breaks through and starts to go the other way. Right. Well, think of the VWAP as giving you a little more confirmation. Right. So if you have the point of control above it, it gives it a little bit more weight when you break through it. But still, it's not guaranteed, right? Nothing's guaranteed. So it is going down though, right? We can see that. You could also do, I like, I think I have to pull this up on the indicators. It says Delta profile volume cluster. So I like that better. That's the view I prefer because you can see clearly. Clearly, you can see the slope. So I think that's important. Now, I'm not sure. But it's the other one. Okay, so there's our band. And that's the VWAP for the entire session. No, so they're pretty much the same, right? Didn't change much from day one to day 5. Isn't that crazy? Like over time, the VWAP has pretty much stayed flat. So when something happens, it's probably going to move fast, right? And that third attempt that we had was about here. We're going to take it down to the VWAP. I have them mixed up. It's actually purple. The stop loss, take profit. Put the wrong thing on it. Should we be perfectionists? Probably. So again, that's probably the better target, right? Because we just talked about it. It's the point of control where the most volume traded by both sides. You'd always reload and come back down, right? So that's where we take a um, contract. So that's why I think the point of control is a better place to take profit because you know that you're going to meet some resistance there, at least most of the time. So a lot of people are getting out, right? Because it's fair price. It's the point of control. It's where the price at which most volume was traded. I'm going to go a little faster. I just want to see if we stop out here and we were wrong on all three, or if we make it back to our target. And see how many days it takes to get there. All right. So that was our first target, right? But initially, so we hit TP1, all right? So that was 3.46 to 1. And what I was saying is that I'm looking to get here. Well, remember I said the VWAP isn't a great target? That's what I meant. This just illustrated. I pretty much just said it. So making that adjustment was a huge difference, right? So everything's contextual. It really is. So in that case, this was the target because that's where this is going to happen, right? See how that works? Now we're up to the second deviation testing the top of it. This clearly could be, that could have been, let's do this. It's the wrong. We would get in the break of, zoom in a little bit. We're going to put sim trader on and I'll show you. We're just going to trade on a sim account in the back tester. We're going to mark it in and out, and then we'll set our stops immediately. As soon as I'm close to entry, I'm going to move it down to a slower speed. This is like, shows you, you just have to patiently wait for your spot. That's the only thing that matters. So if we still making higher highs, okay, so we just made a lower high. So if we break this low, I'm looking for a pullback and a limit sell, but I want to see us break this low first. And I'm probably going to enter somewhere about where price is right now. You can see where price just rejects from. When it breaks this level with a candle close, that's my signal. All right, so we're just going to kind of play this. And our target again is the point of control. If it doesn't break, we're invalidated. If it breaks the high, then maybe we look for continuations. All right, so it starts to become a game. Do we break the high? So we break the high. So days, right? Days and days and days. And let's see if the VWAP is changing at all. Let's see if it starts to deviate from. Of course it's not, because it's the whole period. It's the ones from the start. So if we wanted a short-term one, we would have to, let's see from here. It is going up. So it's going up. It deviated up. So now we're looking for a break of the deviation here, a retest of it, and then a fail, and then we'll enter. So on a short, just don't know where that's going to be. So we need to create a lower low before I start to get interested. I'm going to take a 30-second break. So we're getting closer. Slow it down. That was strong. So we want it to essentially now we enter on the break of this. Put the stop behind the swing. So I would sell stop here. Yeah, we're back testing. Doesn't matter. Let me see if I can do that. Um, Symbol update. I think. Well, I know why. It's because it's in the past. No big deal. So now we have our plan. So we'll go 40x. Oh, I don't know what that was all about. That was weird. Anyways, it's supposed to be sell stop. What we did. What the hell? I don't even see. Oh, down here? What the hell? Oh, I must have limited. That's what I did. That was a mistake. So we'll cancel that out. I didn't even know it was in that trade. Hit the wrong button. So we really want to sell stop. So that's at 40, 41.90 right here. Why is it doing that? Am I retarded? I'm so confused. You put something's wrong with this thing. It's not working right. You should be able to put a sell stop below, and when it comes across it, it sells it for you. So I don't know what the fuck this is. Honestly, that was really strange. Let me try to do market sell. Down here? Dude, this shit is broken. Shit is broken. Price is there, but it's showing my entry here. I try to do a limit sell up here. Anyways, we just broke that shit. So what are we at? 80. I'm way confused now. I'm just gonna market. When I did a market sell, it sold that there was a big ass gap. And it put me into this like super negative situation. So we'll just put a reference here because we're still waiting for that to break and retest. Then we'll just market or limit in somehow. I don't know how, but market didn't give us a good price. So obviously this is a sim back tester. I was talking about how much I like it. I've never had that happen, but I've never back tested back 2 years. So I'm not sure why it a sell stop executed down here when price was up here. I think my shit's broke. All right, so we just broke that level. I'm gonna just do a limit sell here. That kind of came down, and that was the retest. And our plan is going to be to draw this out. And now the point of control and the VWAP, this anchored VWAP, it's discretionary wherever I want to put it. They're in alignment. And the bands are starting to flatten out. So this would be a swing trade, a multi-day trade example, because it wouldn't have worked probably for day trading. Maybe it's possible. You may get that much movement. Today you would 100%. So we're going to take our profit. Can't take profit. Oh, there we go. Down here at the VWAP, which is higher than the point of control. So I'm going to put a little more weight on it because there's more strength to the move, right? It's above two big references and it's sloping up. So we're going to take profit right here. If it moves up a little bit, we'll take profit wherever it is. Now we're going to go and put our stop. So this was the trade we were waiting for above this swing high. All right. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on? This shit is not working. Okay, anyways, fuck that. Um, that's pissing me off. I have no idea. I don't want to restart the app either. Talk about tilting, man. So we got our plan. We know what we're doing. We broke this area and decided to enter. Again, putting our stop above this reference here. It's a little high probably. Our stop right there. Few ticks above the high. We're taking our profit target, putting it down at the VWAP, dynamic VWAP. Long-term VWAP is a little bit lower. So we go to the dynamic VWAP. This is the most recent. The point of control is even lower. So I think this is the strongest. This is short term. This is a little bit more long term. So we'll speed it up. See if we get stopped out. Stopped out. So let's see if we were too tight or if it's going to have another leg up. Now, I don't trade like this, but it's still a good exercise. I trade off of the volume profile over here as well as the delta profile, but for now, I'm really focusing on these VWAP bands, right? Um, and it looks like we just put our stop a little tight, and we're not going to re-enter it, but we want to see, right, how important it is to be perfect with your entries. Let's make this even heavier. All right, and timing is so important. And just check this out. This is crazy. All right. Up. So we're gonna get that first VWAP. Let's see if we get the second one. Test. It wants to keep going higher. So VWAP is going higher. Shorter term VWAP going higher. So I took several trades, but they were tiny losses, right? 15 ticks, 13 ticks, and then we had a few more back here, or a few more, but they were all small. So you're not going to break your bank losing, right? It's okay to be wrong. And then just use the VWAP and all your other indicators to kind of guide you as to we're still trending up. I'm looking for pullbacks. Honestly, like we make this pullback and we break the high in the structure, we are still trending up until proven otherwise. That's the evidence. We took a shot and we busted. There's always another shot, and we're going to look for a retest of this deviation band. We're going to try again. If it doesn't come back, then we don't get to play. So this zone right here is kind of important. That's why I don't use the VWAP bands, right? Because they're references that I don't like. You can kind of see where I put it is a more important level than the deviation. I can see it. So to me, it's still tapped off the deviation. It still wants to go higher. So we get stopped out again, right? That's it though, right? It's not a big deal. It's it's how you learn, right? You're like, what the fuck? Okay, I need to protect myself. I'm not gonna win like half the time. Maybe more than half the time. That's kind of the mindset. It doesn't mean that you're not trying to win. Okay, and there it was. That's where I would get in right there. So I'm gonna put it, okay, because we retested and broke it. I'll put the stop right here. That's not where I would have put the stop. Point of control. Right there. It'd also be this point of control or VWAP band, but until it breaks this level, I think that's the target right there. So we finally get a winner um with no pullback at all. It just rips right to it. So breaks through, we enter somewhere around here. Maybe it's more like that. with that buy stop or sell stop that I was talking about. We take 41 ticks. So we're probably a little bit under break even on 4 trades. And that's why I put the stop there, right? Because that was the POC that was most um, relevant for me right now. Still is, right? We're back here again. We broke back above the VWAP. Now, if we want to measure, like move this thing, can't see the end of it. Where's the end? Let's just delete it. All right. Starting to get tired, so we're probably going to conclude here, but this gives you an idea of how you can use VWAP to see where price is in relation to fair value. And if you want to use the deviation band, you can. I don't, um, but you can. For me, no thank you. So we'll get rid of all this shit and we'll call it good. This indicator's off. Just no envelopes. Try again. I would have tried up here again. Back down to the VWAP. Here's a good example. Now you're seeing it move, right? POC and the VWAP together. It fails, goes back up, works its wow, extends. Look at that. What the hell happened? Let's watch it come back down. Let's see how it interacts with the VWAP. Breaks through it, straight through it, all the way to the other side. Flips back up to the VWAP point of control. Breaks through it, retests it, then drops back down, finds its way back to the bottom. You can see how it interacts with the VWAP, right? It does some crazy shit. Now this is interesting. I'm going to pause it. Okay, so you look right here, this area right here. Okay, this area right here. It's a big inefficiency, right? It's a big hole, right? It's a big hole right here. Okay. Well, that's not true. there's two things happening. So on the right side, right here, right, there's not a lot of, that's not the area, but you can see there's not a lot of volume traded here compared to everywhere else, right? On this side, okay? On this side, there is a lot of volume traded. Through that whole area, okay? Through the whole area. You can see it. Another thing I hate, these small little dots to resize shit. Um, so we went from lots of volume in this area to very little volume over here. Lots of volume after impulsing up pretty quickly. There's volume here too, right? So this area, strong, high volume nodes, pointer controls, VWAPs, all that shit. So eventually we're going to come back and retest that, right? So we're into the second deviation band, but we're waiting to make a higher high here. So let's slow it down a little bit. Not quite yet. So we make the first high there. So we want to make a higher high right here before we're interested in anything. I'm just going to put it here even though we're not really ready for it. We're going to wait for the retest of it. So we're going to let it break through first. And then I want to see a reaction off of it. So that's kind of the plan, right? And then we know where our target is, the POC here. So all the way up here. And again, this would have been a swing trade example. Because I don't think he gets all the way back up there today. It could. It's only $1. And I really don't know how oil moves. So that's the biggest mystery. The bands are very expanded too, right? So just wide. Need to find some balance. Because we creeped up and then just ripped down. So we're still making lower lows. Point of control for this here. You can anchor it from this swing high. Another example. Just move it along. Not the most efficient. You can control the range and start to see how it actually functions. But for longer term trades, I like to use the longer term lines. So over multiple sessions. All right, so it's starting to flatten. Bottom starting to round. Might be making an inverse head and shoulders. So we're going to want it to break this level and retest it, and then enter and put a limit order and enter when it bounces back and hits the level. So how we approach the problem is that the deviations are spread. Range has been extended heavily, starting to flatten out. VWAP bands as well as the price action. We're starting to build a base with volume. And we have maybe selling pressure, aggressive down here, but it's not moving price any lower. Aggressive selling pressure, right? And decreasing volume and interest, and buyers stepping in. So you could jump in right now, front run, right? But I'm going to wait because there's a lot of room to the upside. We're going to wait for this to happen right here. And we likely would put our stop. Taking a little more risk on this trade. I don't think we have to, though. 35 ticks. $1.6 to 1. All right, off topic. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I forgot I'm on replay. I get into it and I just zone in. I actually like to backtest the market at normal speed. It matters. You only need to watch it at certain times so you can set alerts and shit. So I can just set an alert to, it's going to be loud, so I'm sorry if it goes off, but I can't control the volume on it. I don't know why. So when it hits that level right here, it's going to go off. And I said the first time, I don't even want to take it. Well, the plan changes now. I think we're going to stick with it. There's a lot of resistance in that range. What the fuck? Why can't I click on it? Oh, so annoying. We're not going to get the alert now, though, because I deleted the line. So remember, it's going to break it. We're not getting in yet. As soon as it comes down a retest, then we're in. Right there. We're in. And we get there. I think we originally said all the way here. But we get to the VWAP. So I do think we originally set up here though. So I think, yeah, I had it right here. Crazy. So It's definitely possible just using those references to really set up some good trades. I mean, we're coming back to this zone. It's a 1 day trade, overnight trade. And both of those entries get there. So crazy. Crazy, right? Look at that extension. Wow. Wow. Whoa. What? January 10th. Did we do something? Did we attack somebody on January 10th? It's like 2:56 a.m. January 10th, 2025. Let's see. This is what happened. Oil prices surged nearly 3% on Friday, reaching 3-month highs as traders prepared for supply disruptions from the U.S. most comprehensive sanctions package targeting Russia's oil and gas revenues. Wow. News event. Old. All right. Hope I'm not getting sick. Feel like I'm getting sick. So crazy. That's what happened on this day. It's 2.24%. $1,600. 168 points. 16.5 dollars. Oh man. I really hope I'm not getting sick. All right, so maybe I should shut this shit down. So that's kind of what I do. I don't. So what I do, it's about VWAP. I do use VWAP as a reference, but I use it in conjunction with like the point and control. Okay, so first and foremost, these VWAP bands with the standard deviations, not a big fan, honestly. Maybe just to turn it on, just to take a quick look, be like, okay, we're over. Be like, oh yeah, we're overextended. We got a wide base here. I'm gonna be looking for point of control is really high though, so there's lots of buying up top, and the VWAP is sloping up. So till it starts to flatten out, I'm not thinking shorts at all. Thinking buying pullbacks. So we're not gonna do that though. So I'm gonna turn that off. This would be a good place to anchor a VWAP. This is where we broke higher. We probably treat this as the swing low right here, or I would probably treat that as the swing low. That's our anchored VWAP. I'm curious though, because it would be nice if I could anchor to an exact time, like 1:52 a.m. Any of that? Yes. Oh, but you can't do it to the future. I wonder if that's stuck. Okay, let's see if it actually goes with it. So in this application, you kind of got to pull it along. On TradingView, it's a little easier. It actually, you can anchor it and then it keeps track of it. So that's kind of nice. Keeps going, right? So you say look for pullbacks. VWAP still sloping up. Continues to gain momentum. Like, that's a buy right there. Stop behind this. This is a very tight stop. Like, zoom in a little bit. I'm using one hand right now. So this stop is really tight. It was even tighter than that. So let's look at the numbers on this. And basically, what I did was just use this as an indicator, the VWAP, to help me determine that we're trending and I want to buy pullbacks because it's sloping up and it still has relatively strong momentum. Even that's a pullback, right? Every time until you start to see that momentum go down, you just keep taking it. So, or you maybe wait for a retest of it, right? Thing we don't get with this that if we add a volume profile to it too, we have to drag both along the same period. We had strong rejection here, absorption, and then buyers got absorbed, and then sellers stepped in. So this is a strong level. This is kind of interesting here on this one. So we ripped right through the point of control and the VWAP. Broke it, retested it, ripped. So not my favorite trade, but this is a trade too. They're everywhere, but this is a trade as well. But where are you going to take it? Probably down here to where buyers start to step back in. have stepped in the past. Right here. There. Honestly, right here. This zone right here. These are references, right? Trying to get some confluence between them. VWAP and volume profile. Flat VWAP. um, After a rise and a sharp decline, retesting the area where we originally took the trade down, if we would have taken the trade down. Retesting a level. Lots of selling pressure. Ripped down here, came back up, ripped right through it. Like we just completely cleared this zone. Now we're retesting the high of it. We're waiting to make a lower low. So here we are above the VWAP. We could sell at a discount above or at a premium above fair value. This is tricky, right? Because we're in the middle of the range, the POC and the VWAP. We're above both of them. And we did have a deep retracement. And we could be working exactly back up to the top. And look how fast that ripped. Right back to the middle of the zone. That's insane. Okay. That's why we didn't take that trade. It was like it happened. Obviously, we're sped up 100 times, but that happened in the matter of like a half hour, a few minutes. Each candle is a minute, and then we continue to move to the upside. So we never got our entry for our short, and price is continuing to move higher. But check it out. There wasn't much volume in the move. So I'm looking to short back down to the point of control because look over here. We're not a lot of volume up here with that big move. So this is 1800. So this is a evening move. So when we break this level right here, I'm likely sell stopping this. So as soon as it hits that level, I'm going to front run and take a chance. Okay, because we swept the high. I kind of know how Asia is, what it likes to do. And I think we come back down and take all that out. At least to right there. So we'll speed it back up and see if we get stopped out. But I would take that trade. 45 ticks. 2.76 R. Go 500 and just really speed it up and let's see what happens. Still not a lot of volume. Right, I could show you here even better, right? You can just look at, you see that? No volume. Maybe that's a news item. Who knows? We may get stopped out, but we can re-enter and try it at least twice and then a third time and still be profitable. That's the crazy thing about this game. You just pick good spots. And we get stopped out. Not a problem because we can re-enter. So right here, that's our re-entry. Stop is going to be a little higher. I don't know if that's the entry actually. Let's see here. Yep. Be here. Take profit is going to be down here. We get stopped out of. Oh, we didn't get in. We didn't get. We did get filled. No, we didn't get filled. No, we did get filled. Holy shit! I'm going crazy. So that's 2 losses. All right. That's 2. All right. Didn't work twice, but we're gonna do 3 just to illustrate. And it's gonna be a sell stop here. Small stop. So we got filled there. Taking it back down to the VWAP or the point of control. Drag these along. To keep dragging it. So this is on 400x speed, so it's moving pretty quickly. Definitely a swing trade. I would be moving my take profit down. It'd be above this swing here. So we would be in profit just barely. We take a stop, right? By doing that. We can go for another entry when it's presented, and right now it's not. I think we missed it. We're going to take a limit sell from that same zone. Limit sell right here. Actually, we did not get stopped out yet. Perfect. Now, what I'm going to pay attention to is the fact that point of control is high, right? And the VWAP is low. So we really need to take profit right now to be safe. So I would get out right here, not like right now. I would get out there because we keep resisting off of it and it's moving up still. So we would have taken the profit on that trade. Closed it out. So that was a 2.76. And how interesting we're in this zone that I identified right here. Let's see, there's clear demand from this zone. To me, it's an accumulation. So I don't know if it goes any lower. I think I'd be looking for longs here. This is multiple references. It's a value area low, a point of control for the longer term. And we're going between the point of control migrated down. Shit, this is what I see. I see us ranging here now for a while. Okay, so, it's not about taking a trade always. It's just trying to follow the story. Let's just see. We spend some time in here. We kind of retest this line here. Okay, so we just rip through it, right? Retest it into it, and we take another leg higher. So it's not done. We got another reversion trade at some point here. Want to create a lower low. We have not done yet. I'm going to slow this down so I have a little bit of time. Make it like 40x. I got to drag this shit along. Like I said, I wouldn't normally trade this way, but I have like multiple charts going, not just this one. So they're all different views. They kind of show me all these different things, but not all on one chart. They're all separated. And I take them as like individual data points. Okay, so we need to make a lower high first. Okay, first step. Okay, here's where we could pull in the VWAP bands. Very extended into the second deviation. We rejected off the top of it. It's the volume point of control up here. So everything is sloping up and it's not slowing down necessarily. So it's by the pullbacks, or are we retest, fail, make a lower high and a lower low? Maybe. Okay, so we made a lower low and a weird lower high. But I think we come back up here again though first. I think we come back up there. Not. So for me, if we break back here, I'll pause it. I'm entering. Still stop. One tick below. The stop above here. Take profit. Again, this is a swing trade. Okay, this is a swing trade. This could take me days. So what is this? Let's take on a little more risk on. No, I don't need to. I don't need to. But I do think it could come back here, and I could be wrong. So 57. This is a 3.3 to 1. Let me make sure though. Obviously, I would have time slower. So VWAP is flat. We're overextended. All-time highs for maybe all-time highs. We came down, consolidated, dropped down a little bit more. Could be a fake out. We'll adjust this target as the price action develops. I'm not exactly sure where I want to put it yet. So we'll go a little faster. Just play it out. See what happens. Mr. Pessimist. Not looking good. Not looking good. Really should put it behind here. I don't even need that much, I don't think. Four to one. Okay, so at this point, I would move to break even. Or not break even, but down to here. I would move to here. So we would reduce our risk down. Now we're going to move. Oh, motherfucker. That's a little annoying. Move these along. What the hell happened? What the hell happened? Anyways, our target is down here. I don't know what just happened. Thing is wacky, dude. Or I'm just on drugs. Or I should be on drugs. Concept remains. It might be an early night for me. It's like 8:28 p.m. and I'm ready to call it. But technically, this is the target because there's the point of control, right? Something's fishy with this, man. I don't know what's going on. It's like the point of control is down here. So that's what I was saying for target. Probably venture to the point of control for this one. Let's create a, this is a new swing range. So that's right at the point of control. So that's it there. So that's how you can see price interact with the point of control and the VWAP. We're still above it, but it's starting to flatten out and it's been flat for shit 4:30 p.m. for over 12 hours here. It's right back to where it was. It's kind of taking a pause, or are we going to break below? Oh, why? Why are you doing that? It's so annoying. Thing is all jacked up. I have no idea what's going on here. Maybe it's a new contract. Maybe that's what's going on. Because that's some funky ass price action. So we're gonna pause there and just call it because I need to restart this app and it's not working too well. So, anyways, we got kind of off track on a tangent. That's how it works. Um, if you're interested, I trade with Apex. I'm not going to give you a code. You can just use the Save Now code right on their website. You get 90% off any eval. They're new. I have 5 funded PAs with them right now. It means they're all past evaluations, and now I'm trying to get funded and take them to payouts. Currently not trading any valuations, just 5 sim funded accounts. Um, and I learned just by doing what I'm doing right now, just watching the market and making guesses and decisions and watching it play out. So it's been fun. I didn't even get into like the Fibonacci's at all, but when you start to add Fibonacci's along with VWAPs and volume profiles, I guess that's not what I want. Still not what I want. See it. Where's it at? Whatever. So I'm saying I need to restart this shit. It's kind of crazy. All right, there we go. I think I can do developing VWA or developing POC for that too. I think I prefer that. No, there's no developing POC. Developing, there we go. I like the developing point of control. So we're below both, right? It's flat. VWAP ripped up and just flatlined, and we dumped. Now we're consolidating, likely for the next leg down, right? So for me, I want to see us break a lower low, but I'm done. Here I go, just like that, right back on it, starting to anticipate. You can see this trend too, like this, right here. So many things to have fun with. It looks pretty good. This is real time right here. So retraced all the way down to the 70% and it's consolidating. Sure. A huge extension followed by a retracement into a liquidity void, grabbing, repairing, or making an attempt to move up and then getting ripped to the downside. Just for a second so you can see it. You can see that big, crazy move here. Just insane. Not a lot of volume though, right? If we go here, well, actually, here, not a lot of volume. So sellers stepped in at this 30% line. Buyers really stepped in here. Made lower, low, lower, low, retrace, lower, low, lower, low. Pull back. So that's my look there. We're also at the value area low here, so it's still valid to start to move back up to do this repair right here. Right. That's possible too. So it could be something like that. Okay. Or it could be this. So we got the VWAP, this trend line, upswing converging, even if we're gonna go down converging. So my bet, honestly, is this right here. Yeah, I think that's it. It's a 1-to-1, kind of risky, but I see that trade right there. Then maybe it's a short. I like taking shorts from there. I don't know. I'm too tired. So good night. Till next time. Peace out.